Everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing service on this Kubota RTV 900. So a friend of ours actually did this a couple years ago for him. I figured this time I'd actually walk everybody through it. And it's got currently 630 hours on it. According to the filters, the last oil change and service we did was at 528. These have a 200-hour service interval for like the engine oil and the filters and stuff, but it's been a year and a half approximately, so it's time to do the oil. So we're just gonna walk through the engine oil change, the filter, and we got a transmission hydraulic filter we're gonna do on it as well. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do on our service here is, I guess our hood strut is kind of getting worn out. But the first thing, and my biggest pet peeve, is checking the screen on the radiator. You know, he doesn't really drive this through fields or anything much, so it's really clean. There's nothing really to do there, but it's still definitely worth taking a look at. And we'll check the antifreeze here. Yeah, the radiator's nice and full. And our coolant reservoir is pretty low though, so we'll get that topped off. So the brake reservoir here looks plenty full. And the fluid's a little dark, but it's not too bad. Last but not least, we got our air filter here. Let's take a peek at this. 60 hours, huh? This doesn't look too bad. Still nice and yellow on the inside, a little dirty on the outside. So what I might do is just take the take my air cleaner or air hose, air compressor, and just blow these out good. And the rest of the filter housing here looks clean. The tube inside looks clean, which is most important. That lets you know your filters are actually doing a good job. If that had a ton of dirt or anything in it, you would know that that is getting adjusted into the engine. Okay, we definitely had a ton of dust there coming out of the filter, but it is most definitely cleaner. You can see the pleats are nice and yellow now. So what I'll do is let them know that next time we do this, we are definitely going to get a filter. Our local Napa didn't have any in stock right now, so but we can get out to the Kubota dealer for next time and get a new filter. So one other thing to note there is when you're blowing these filters out, initially kind of blew them out from the inside out, because you know the engine's going to suck dirt into the outside of the filter, so you don't want to blow that dirt through the pleats or bury them further in there. So you just want to blow it the opposite direction of how it came in. And get our filter snap back down. Got our antifreeze topped off, so we're all done under the hood and ready to dump the oil. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, fire this thing up, and get the bed dumped. So, key on. Okay, so that gets us access to the engine, and on the 900 models, we got the battery down here. Just try to make sure the Posts look nice and clean while we're here. Everything looks pretty good. No corrosion and stuff on this. You see the engine oil filter is down here with 538 hours wrote onto it. And we got our transmission oil here. That a wiggle, get that up out of there. Yeah, so it's right at the full mark. The oil looks really nice and clean still. Well, looks dirty from that ledge, but the oil on the dipstick itself here actually still looks really good. So pretty happy with that. Just get that snap back down. The last one of these I did was so filthy we ended up pressure washing everything before even starting. And we'll go ahead and pull our engine oil dipstick here. Yeah, oil's super dark. So definitely a good thing we're doing this. So we'll get this out and we'll get our drain pan and start dumping the oil. Okay, so we're now down on the ground underneath everything, and we got to go ahead and remove these skid plate bolts to get this out of the way to get access to the drain plug. These take a 12 millimeter socket. And move my drain plug out of the way. There's a lot of leaves and debris in here. Or debris, however you want to pronunciate it. Oh yeah, that's why I love working on stuff like this, because it always ends up making a mess everywhere. And we'll get that right out of the way. So now we got access to our drain bolt. And more leaves falling in here. So now we're going to take our 14 millimeter wrench on our drain bolt. And we'll see how bad this oil looks. According to the dipstick, it's pretty black, but oh yeah. So we'll let this drain for a few minutes and we will continue. So while we're waiting for the oil to drain, we'll go ahead and start hitting some of these grease zerks on the suspension. Now, I don't service a ton of Kubota stuff. If you watch the channel at all, I have the Coyote tractor. But I did just recently do a Kubota 1100 RTV, and that didn't have any grease zerks on the suspension that I could find. So yours may or may not be different, but definitely worth the look. We've got one, the front and the back on each lower control arm, and then on our upper there's just one center zerk here. And just a couple shots so you see it weep out a little bit of the bushing, and then you know you've got grease pumped through everything. Come on. Get a little more light on this side here so you can see what we're doing a little better. The biggest thing here is just making sure you kind of wipe the zerk off before you pump the grease, because if there's dirt on the zerk and you put the fitting on there, and you run the risk of actually pushing dirt into the bushing and potentially wearing your control arm bushings out more. Of course, that kind of goes for any grease fitting really, not just these obviously. Try to wipe them off a little bit before and after, but In this case, I'll wait till we get done, and then I'll go around and wipe all the excess grease off, just to kind of help keep from accumulating any more dirt and debris than we need to. We race a little bit of motocross, and that's one of the reasons on the dirt bikes that there's not grease fittings and stuff, and they take things apart annually and do some service and stuff to them, is because you really don't want big heavy films of grease everywhere, because it will actually just attract more dirt. So there's all 3 Zerks for the driver's side. I'll wipe these off. Everything's nice and clean. Onto the rear. So I'm sure in the comments someone's gonna yell and scream here because I probably missed a Zerk somewhere. But let's try to go through and find all of them that we can. I think there was one more Zerk here. Oh, right here on the linkage here. Wipe off our grease there. There's 2 shots in that one. Yeah, he actually does not have the manual to this, so I don't know. I could potentially be missing a Zerk somewhere, but these are all that I've seen. Now the engine's done draining its oil. We'll go ahead and get the engine refilled to the filter once we shut the bed, or dump the box or whatever, or shut the dump box. Oh, you know what? Speaking of dump box, look at that. We got one Zerk right here on the pivot. I do not see one on the lower though. But yeah, we will do the rear control arms, because those do have grease Zerks as well. I guess we should mention too that this does have this safety prop rod that you're supposed to put down. That way if the hydraulics were to fail and your head was under here, you wouldn't get crushed. So I feel like I probably should have said that at the beginning, but I forgot about it. Okay, so the engine's done draining now, and you can see a little better now that I have my flashlight here, because I forgot to before. Intelligence was not my strongest class or subject in school. I'm just kidding. I actually, not trying to sound too arrogant or anything, but I actually dropped out of RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. I was an engineering student, and I was bored to death. So now we're laying under Kubotas and working on junk. So make of that what you will. So anyways, our engine oil is done draining. So we're going to do our filter now, and make sure our oil drain pan's in the appropriate spot, and we'll get our filter wrench on and get that off. All right, so got the filter cracked open here. Not really room to get my hand in there with the wrench and the camera, so I just got it loosened up a little bit here, but get this off without dropping it. See if that's easier said than done. Uh-huh. All right. So, 1361. That's bigger than the filter I just took off. Oh yeah, it's way bigger. That's a 1365. Okay, we're back with our new Napa 1365 filter. Since the 1361 is too large in diameter to fit, this coolant hose was kind of right in our way here. So, you go ahead and get this threaded back on. And I know everybody's going to yell that I did not lube that O-ring. Well, guess what? I never wiped the engine off. So there's still plenty of oil on the surface there. So get that spun down and hand snug. And probably should have wrote on there first. Grab our paint pen. We got 637 hours. Whew. Terrible job writing on that. Okay, so now that our filter's on, we'll go ahead and fill this with oil. And for that, we got some Mobil Delvac 540 full synthetic. I got 1 gallon of it here. And if I remember right, this takes just over 3 quarts. So we're gonna pour that in, and then we're going to check it and see where we're at. So we got about 3 1/4 quarts in it, and we're gonna check it. I have not started it yet, since I'm not 100% sure our, okay, yeah, so obviously on this it shows we're overfilled, but we have not started it to fill the oil filter yet. So we might be right in the ballpark. So let's get our oil fill cap back on here. Doing it all left-handed. Took a minute for oil pressure light to go off, obviously, since we had to fill the oil filter. Let it run for 10-15 seconds or so, and then we'll shut it off. Let it sit for a minute. Get all the oil drained back to the head. Or not the head, from the head to the oil pan. That's more better. Grab our rag, and we will check this dipstick again. Okay. And right there, just a touch above the full mark. See, yep, there you go. You can see it's right there. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and lift up our safety latch now, since we are done under here, and we're going to set the bed down so we can easier access the rear. So I'm just gonna push our lever down into float, and now we're good to go. Now, I already cheated a little bit. Since I had to run down to Napa, I wanted to spin these filters here quick and make sure we were getting the right stuff. I got the rear plate off. This is also 12mm bolts, just like our skid plate underneath, which you still got to reattach. So let's do that first, and then I'll get my drain pan out and do the filters in the rear. Okay, so our skid plate is back on. Wow, that filter was looser than I thought it was going to be. So I'll go ahead and spin these off. Again, you can see that hydraulic oil super clean and clear coming off there, so we're not going to worry about changing that today. So I'm going to go ahead and write our hours down on the new filters and get these reinstalled. Okay, so our new filters are on, and go ahead and kind of spray everything down here with some brake cleaner, get it all cleaned up. Although I kind of just got rid of my numbers on my filters. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We'll get the rear plate back on here. More debris out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and just hit our rear grease zerks. And we should be ready to give this thing a test drive. One of the things I am trying to teach myself here is to be slightly more intelligent, where you know, you like don't try threading bolts in over top of your drain pan, that type of stuff. Eventually I'll learn. Okay, so now that that's done, we'll get our zerks back here and we should be good to go. So there we have it. Kubota RTV X900 service. If you got any questions, anything else you'd like to see, let me know. I'm usually doing a annual service on this for the customer, and so we can always go over it another time. Anything else you'd like to revisit with it, and feel free to like the video. You know, if you got a friend or whatever with one of these Kubota X900s, go ahead and share it with them, and we'll get the views up on the video. And if you haven't clicked that like and subscribe buttons yet, go ahead and do so. They don't cost you anything, and it's a good way to support the channel. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.